Your teams.
Hell! It is Barner! It is Barner! And he's gone!
The Beavers are the national champions!
Brandon, a three-pointer out front. Hit it! Yes, he did!
His take.
Here's what I think.
Matt Bagley. Matt Bagley. Matt Bagley.
The league wants to look at measurables. They can say he throws the strongest, throws the fastest. They project a physical stud. I want to project a quarterback. I want a guy that knows his offense. Guys want to fight. They want to play. They want to scrap for him. I don't see that with Justin Herbert.
Talking local sports.
He's chill. He's quiet. Says the play real soft. And then doesn't run the play. Like, he'll throw to his first option. He'll find Dylan Mitchell. Well, now Dylan Mitchell's in the NFL, so good luck. Where are you going to throw the ball, Justin? I think we need to see him take that mental leap. All the physical stuff is there. Mentally, emotionally, not my number one overall pick.
Southern Oregon Sports Talk with Matt Bagley. Presented by Medford BMW on 96.1 580 The Game.
Hey everybody, Matt Bagley here with you. Southern Oregon Sports Talk presented by Medford BMW. Short show tonight. You know the drill. Monday night. That means Monday Night Football. That means Kevin Harlan and the guys boot me off the airwaves at 4:30. And in the meantime, I have 30 minutes to hit on high school football. North and South, both 2-0. I have 30 minutes to hit on college football. Beavs get their first win. Ducks, huge primetime game coming up Saturday night against Stanford. And I have 30 minutes to tell you everything I think and maybe some things that I don't know what I think about the NFL 2 weeks in. But also, and this is a rarity. We have not been able to do this for a while. I get to do something on Monday that I used to love doing on Monday. I get to interview Brian Schnee, anchor at KTVL News 10. Brian, you have a ton of big news in your life. Let's start here. You get engaged. And I know from experience that might be just the craziest thing to happen in your life so far.
Who gets engaged on a Tuesday, Matt? Me.
You ask me.
I got engaged on a Tuesday last week, so less than a week. And it's kind of one of those funny things because Melissa and I have been together a long time. And you know, if you've been around town, you've gone to a wine event, you've seen us at baseball games, and we've run into each other in plenty of places.
I knew her when she was working at SOU.
Exactly, at SOU, and we met at the TV station here locally. So we've known each other for over 4 years, and we've lived together for about 3 years. So it's kind of funny when it's about time, that sort of thing. I finally grew the right pair to make this happen. But what's interesting is you look at my hands, I got nothing to show for it, but she does. So I'm really happy. I'm really, really excited. I'm ecstatic. I have so much going on, and so do you in just 30 minutes.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny. Last Wednesday, I'm at Abby's, and a listener came, and we were talking about you, about how much we love Brian Schnee.
Feelings mutual, by the way.
Right, and I was telling him, this is how I know Brian from way back in the day, good friend of mine. And the guy who told me, he said, yeah, Brian wasn't on the air last night. I was kind of worried. I didn't think it was for the proposal. I thought it was for the other big piece of Schnee news. You're moving on to bigger things, my man.
I'm getting out of town, and you know, it's a bittersweet thing because I absolutely love it here. And you and I have talked on the air, off the air about how much I love this area and connecting with people and doing things in the community and going hiking and working my job. I mean, my job now, my job prior to that. You know, there's been beautiful pieces of all three. And I'm heading to Salt Lake City, Utah. And that's an interesting transition. You might go, why there? Well, think about the Valley. Think about Medford. Think about what it has to offer. I think it's similar, just a little bit bigger with some things. So I'm excited for a new adventure, new city, new people, while keeping in touch with everybody, that sort of thing. And it'll be great career-wise, but great for a newly engaged couple, I think, to try something new. You know, we both have been here for a little bit, and we're just excited to see what else is out there.
Fresh start, man. Hey, I want to talk sports with you like we always do on a Monday. I know people are waiting for that, but just as a friend, I want to learn more about this because I've said before, I think you are the most talented person here in Southern Oregon.
Means a lot to hear that. We have a lot of people
in our industry.
A lot of people that are great.
And I've seen this coming for so long, and I'm so happy that you finally get there. Salt Lake City, what do you think is going to be the biggest change for you?
Working with more people. I'm so used to working in a small newsroom with by doing so many things. I kind of am excited just to focus on the task at hand rather than kind of worry about what everyone else is doing. You know what I mean? You know, you've seen on a Friday night just how hectic it is to put a Friday night football show together.
It's amazing.
And
it's absolutely
just for
amazing.
15 minutes, it is so difficult to just put all the missing pieces together and then go do the news and then do sports. It's a lot. And I think it'll be nice to focus on the task at hand and work on me for once. I'm really excited to work on me and get better as just an on-air presenter or telling stories or even, you know, diving into a new community. There's a lot of things to love about the move for me.
So, talking with Brian Schnee, anchors the news at KTVL News 10. He just got engaged last week. He's going to take a job in Salt Lake City.
I'm by myself tonight at 5, 6, and 11, too. So that's an extra added thing. And Trish is with me, and we're going solo because Trish is out for a couple days. So I'm holding down the fort. So we'll be live on Facebook. You can always shoot it back and forth with me. I'm there for you.
A very busy, very stressed, but very happy Brian
Can you hear it in my voice?
On TV, 5, 6, and 11 tonight on Channel 10. So we became friends when you moved to the Valley. I've told people the story before. My mom is a seamstress here in Southern Oregon, and you wanted some suits tailored. And my mom found out you worked in TV and said, hey, do you know Matthew? And you guys started talking. Then you reached out to me, and we've been pretty tight ever since. For those of you who don't know your story, share that story. How did you get to Medford in the first place?
I came here blind. You know, I was doing really well in the Northeast. I had a lot of things that you love. You know, I was doing play-by-play broadcasting, and I was working in TV part-time and kind of working my way there. I did jump to the full-time role, and I was doing a lot of news, and I said, hey, I got to do sports eventually, right? So you kind of just pick a spot. You know, they sell you on the Ducks and the Beavs here. It's a beautiful place to be. Obviously, in Medford, we don't do as much of that. I found out throughout the years, and Eugene covers more, and Portland covers more. We kind of get the leftovers a little bit with that. But we have our own great stuff with high school sports and such. So I came here blind. I got on a plane once and just came here. In June of 2015, my car met me here, was on a flatbed. It's kind of one of those things you pack it and you have no idea what's going to happen. It showed up a few days later, thankfully, so I did have a vehicle. I got out of the airport. It was warm. My roommate, who I found on Craigslist, picked me up from the airport. She was a teacher at White Mountain Middle School.
That's amazing.
And she moved back to Portland since, and she took a risk, a leap of faith on me because it's a Craigslist thing.
It's a roommate
It's
thing.
a roommate thing.
You might be hiring a crazy person.
Right. And she picked me up and drove me around town, and it was cool. And I got here, and I got to work almost right away. I worked at KDRV in town, and I was there for about 2 years. I worked with Brandon Cameraman, who is now in Eugene, and we've stayed great friends, and I love Brandon's work, and he was such a great teacher. And I've worked with people that are, Genevieve Rayom is in Portland at K2. That's our affiliate right now. She's extremely talented. Connor Wist left to go to Denver. We had people that were just so good, and it was such a good core group. Not to mention my girlfriend, eventual girlfriend, now fiance, worked in TV there as well. So I was there. I absolutely loved it. I was out at SOU. I felt like I was a part of the team. I mean, when I was there for the Craig Howard era, it was everything to me. That and basketball and covering hoops over at OIT. Danny was still there.
They loved you.
Man,
I know from
amazing.
experience, Mike Gerard and,
I still do
and his
love those
family
guys,
and everybody at OIT, they always would say, man, I wish everybody covered them like Schnee.
I tried to. I tried to give it the best I could between that and high school sports, and we even had, the Spartans and the Rogues and even the Scorpions, the wheelchair basketball team came into town at that time. I really tried to push that because it's so unique. And I was there for almost 2 years. It didn't end as great as I wanted it to be. It's one of those situations where you're left wondering what to do next. And it's a very scary, scary situation when one day you feel good about yourself and the next day you question yourself. And then it took about a few weeks to settle in saying, this was a great move.
Right.
This was the best thing that could have happened to me, was leaving a situation that for a while was really, really good. And then it started to just fade away. Things were fading away. The Rogues and Table Rock Sports, those two, it absolutely saved me because that next day I was on a broadcast and I felt at home.
Right.
Whatever broadcast it was. And it was only short-lived for TRS, 1 or 2 games. But having a headset on, how you're just in a groove. Nothing else matters but what's in front of your eyes. So that, and then Rogues baseball for a good 3 months, seeing, guys that are D1 baseball players, and they eventually won a championship, and I passed the torch to Jonathan Kerman, who people know on this airwaves. That was amazing. Then KTVL comes calling. The rest is history.
Yeah, Brian Schnee from Channel 12 to Channel 10. Now he's getting ready for Salt Lake City at the end of the month, moving to a big market. I'm so happy for you. Let's turn this full circle to sports.
Sure.
You have a couple weeks left in Oregon, and then you move on to what I consider a bigger opportunity, better place. I'm not knocking Medford at all.
No, and I'm not either.
Now
it's
you
just
get
a great progression. It was a great progression, a great choice, I think.
A much bigger stage and a much bigger audience. Mm-hmm. What story are you going to regret? Like, you got the Ducks this season, Beavs this season, local sports, high school football.
I think it's high school ball right now. We've got so many teams that look great, and it was kind of in a downward trend for maybe a year or two where there was one or two good programs or dominant programs, or someone just had a really good year. I remember the Crater year where they were just nearly untouchable.
Right.
Just a couple years ago. And now Matt Struck's the quarterback for Idaho State, and I loved seeing those highlights the other day because it blew me away. This is year 5 for me covering Southern Oregon football, high school football. I can't imagine that. And to see some guys that have actually physically moved on from the junior college ranks to great football, and having started here and covered them here, kids that you have covered as well, Matt. I mean, that's amazing. I can't wait to see where some of those teams are this year. I mean, North Medford, South Medford, Crater, Cascade Christian, all look really, really good. I'm probably going to miss somebody, and I feel bad. Ashland's off to a great start.
Yeah.
When was the last time that I've seen Ashland just doing hot? It's been a few years since Charlie was there, and Bo had to basically progress from there, and now they're all clicking. It's great. I'm going to miss that because, we used to come in here on Mondays and talk about all the hot topics on Fridays, and then that, for me, that kind of faded away a little bit over time. And I'm going to have to watch from afar and check your Twitter feed because it's going to be a little different for me.
Yeah, you mentioned all the names of players we used to talk about that now move on to greener pastures.
Chase Cota, Brady Breeze, Dante Olson,
right.
Playing at Autzen the other day from, Montana. The family lives right around the corner. It's amazing.
Every year, my fantasy football teams, my kicker is always Aldrich Rosas.
Aldrich Rosas. And I was, I was able to call and talk to Aldrich Rosas a few times. And then when Aldrich got too busy, he got a little busy for me. And I understood. And I totally understood. And he's not, anytime you can share the pride and joy of local sports and what the good story of what they're doing now, I'm always there for it, and you are
right.
too. So Aldrich was a great example. Tyrone Holmes is a great example. There's some baseball players out there, you and I know it, that are great examples. So Southern Oregon's on the map, and they just need, like a lot of kids around here. I did get a message from a parent this morning who plays for Oregon State right now. Their son plays for Oregon State and says, without you and your promotion of sorts and coverage, this might not have been possible because, sports doesn't get covered the same way, in the same magnitude, and looked the same way down here as it does in other parts of the state. And the athletes have to work twice as hard.
Totally agree. Brian Schnee, he anchors the news, KTVL News 10 at 5, 6, and 11 tonight, and he's solo tonight for what it's worth, getting those reps in before Salt Lake City.
Just getting some reps.
Hey, one last sports question for you. You are going to Salt Lake City. I think you're going to cover the Pac. I said this to you off air. When you told me you were getting the job, off air I said, I'll meet you again, Pac-12 championships.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah. Let's say you're there, San Francisco, end of the season, Pac-12 football championships. How does Oregon get to that game?
By being the best team in the North, right? Because Utah scared me weeks 1 and 2. Not as convincing as I thought for week 1. You know who looked good this weekend? BYU over USC.
Right.
I watched most of that game. It looked beautiful in Provo. It got me all excited and amped up to see what, Coug Nation's all about. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
And I met some while I was walking around town, there were a couple angry folks after that because, believe it or not, we do have a couple Southern California transplants here, as you might imagine, and they were a little upset with that game. So I did watch most of that game. Obviously, Oregon looks real good. I would have expect nothing less for the Ducks to be there. I think that your prediction might be right. We'll see in a couple months. Do you feel that way now after a couple weeks in?
I feel that way. I need to see more this Saturday with Stanford.
Can I just tell you something? The Giants are terrible, and I'm really upset about that. And I knew they would be bad, and I know we don't have time to talk about it, but it's probably officially DJ week, right? Eli is done. You're shaking your head. So
13 minutes into the interview, and Brian brings up Daniel Jones.
On my own, not prompted. Daniel
not
Jones.
prompted.
I couldn't wait. We couldn't get to 15 minutes.
Normally, I have to force this guy. I got to torture him, kicking and screaming, to talk about his favorite football team.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I think this is the week they start Daniel Jones.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, they've been abysmal weeks 1 and 2. You've got an extremely talented running back. You got to do everything you can with him, but Eli threw 2 picks. I mean, there's been many games where Eli has thrown 2 picks, and there's been no questioning about should Eli start the next week. But since all this rise and excitement over Daniel Jones, basically a doppelganger of Eli in moments.
Yeah. He's a god. He's infallible. And,
yes, exactly.
He's going to lead the Giants to a 14-2 record.
Can't wait for
Bowl.
it. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. It's not going to happen, though. It's not going to happen at all. It's a disturbing time to be a Giants fan, and it's been that way most of my life, with the exception of 2 somewhat lucky years of my life where I felt on top of the world. I did rep my gear last Sunday. I did not this past Sunday because I didn't even think they could beat the Bills. I was right.
Yeah. That's funny how that works.
My fantasy team sucks because I overslept for the draft. I'm having a really bad year.
That's embarrassing.
Oh, it is.
For a TV sports guy.
You know what time they did the draft, right?
What time they do the draft?
Morning Pacific time, like early morning Pacific. Everyone else is Eastern time. I work the opposite
that's
schedule.
Right. You have a time zone difference.
My phone was on Do Not Disturb. Yeah. My alarm did not go off. I woke up 15 minutes later. I didn't even want to bother with it. I was just mad.
Hey, this is a great ending point for us. I got to ask you one more thing, just on your career, on your life. What's the biggest misconception people have about Brian Schnee, TV anchor in Southern Oregon?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I can tell you the biggest misconception about the TV industry is that we all make a ton of money. I think that's an obvious one, right? I mean, long hours, a lot of effort, a lot of love put into things.
You're telling me that your apartment that I've been to is your real apartment? That wasn't like a fake poor person apartment?
Yes. It is.
You weren't just trying to look middle class? Like you actually live there?
The biggest misconception is that, I mean, like anything, is he really the same person we see on TV? And you know that to be true. Yeah. I mean, unless you meet me, that's the same. I'm not putting on a voice. So I'm not giving you anything that you're not going to get on television, even though I could. Yeah. But I'm not going to. I'm going to talk to you like we're friends, we're family, we're neighbors, we're the community. And I think that's something that if you still didn't get a chance to meet me and you live here locally 4 years later, I want that to be known that I did hike a lot in our region. I did go to Crater Lake as much as I could. I did drink as much wine locally from the valley as I could.
I was going to say.
I did try to go to every single restaurant and support every single local business that meant something to me. I tried to give it back. Like it was real. It wasn't me posting pictures for likes. It was really doing it to show you that I'm here and that I moved here. And it was a good choice. It was a good blind choice. It worked out great for me personally. I think for the area too. I think it helped.
Well, I think it's going to work out for you. It's going to work out for your partner and for your dog and your family. And I'm just getting
everybody loves barley. I know.
So happy for you guys.
Thank you.
So happy for you guys. From the bottom of my heart, I wish you the best of luck. And I'm thankful for the time that you give me every Monday.
And same back to you. Give Kevin Harlan my best. I know you get to toss it to him in just a few minutes.
My man, Kevin Harlan, the GOAT. All right. Brian Schnee sends his regards as well to Big Dog KH. I've got one more segment, and then Monday Night Football is going to get revved up right here on the game. I was right about some things. I was wrong about some things. Really weird week of NFL predictions for me. I'm going to look back on that next, tell you what I learned. And also, Oregon State has a win. Oregon State has some hope. The Beavers aren't winless. The Beavers have life. Let's talk about that. What's next? I'll share my take on Southern Oregon Sports Talk, presented by Medford BMW on 96.1 580 The Game.
Interstate Batteries, the most trusted battery since 1952. Hello, everyone. This is David, the manager from Interstate Batteries in Central Point. Summer is starting, and lake, camping, and traveling is now in effect. I wanted to let you all know that we do free installs on most cars, trucks, SUVs, along with boats, trailers, and motorhomes. We also do free battery checks. Come down and one of my knowledgeable service techs will meet you at your vehicle to test your battery. We check and sell all kinds of batteries. Interstate Batteries is the one store for all your battery needs. From AAA to cell phone, garage doors, and even rechargeable batteries. We carry multiple lines starting from $45. We have 2 locations, one in Central Point on Highway 99 and our other location in Grants Pass at 116 Southwest M Street across from 7-Eleven, right next door to the Solar Man. Come down to either location and get your fast, free battery test. Interstate Batteries, the one store for all your battery needs. Locally owned and operated.
At Master Brand, we don't just make cabinets. we offer opportunities to grow, to learn, and to make a difference in your company, your community, and your world. And you'll be recognized and rewarded for doing it. Our employees are our most important asset, and we provide competitive compensation with $15.45 an hour starting wages and a second shift premium of 80 cents an hour. Our employees receive a comprehensive benefits package, including medical, dental, vision, life, and more, as well as health and retirement savings plans and a stock purchase program to help secure financial protection and peace of mind. When you join Master Brand, you are part of something bigger. We stay competitive and provide support to keep our employees and their families healthy, physically, emotionally, and financially. Master Brand builds employee opportunity and reward into everything we do, whether you have experience or you don't. If you are ready to bring your excellent work ethic and begin to making your dreams come true, apply today at masterbrand.com.
Look out at the expo. It's cars, it's trucks, it's the Lithia Used Cars Super Sale. We brought in vehicles from all over the country. Hundreds of cars, trucks, and SUVs are waiting for you at the Jackson County Expo. Exit 33 in Central Point, Thursday through Sunday night. This is the sale of the year. The big one. The sale you can't afford to miss. Over 500 vehicles on 4 acres. Cars starting at $4,777. All types, all brands, all prices at the Jackson County Expo. This Thursday through Sunday only. The Expo sale is back, but only for a limited time. Hurry in today for the best selection. The Lithia Used Cars Super Sale. This Thursday through Sunday at the Jackson County Expo at Exit 33 in Central Point. And Sunday night. Don't miss it.
Representantes de habla hispana en el sitio.
2009 Chevy Cobalt, stock number 97212-120V, sale price $47.77. One available at this price, plus license and title and $115 registration processing fee. Offer ends 9/30/19.
Southern Oregon Sports Talk with Matt Bagley. Talking local sports. Weekdays 4 to 6 p.m. on 96.1 580 The Game.
Hey everybody, Matt Bagley back with you. Southern Oregon Sports Talk presented by Medford BMW. Let's have some fun tonight. I got 5 minutes with you. Just had a really long, really interesting interview with Brian Schnee from KTVL News 10. Check that out on iTunes later when I put that up on the interwebs. Anywhere you want to listen to your podcasts, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, Stitcher, TuneIn. I swear it's everywhere. Just search for 96.1 580 The Game, and you'll find it. I want to talk NFL. I want to talk college football. I want to talk Beavs, Ducks, and chaos. And high school football, too. North Medford's 2-0. South Medford's 2-0. 5A schools still looking great. Cascade Christian showing up. Another school above their weight class. I love it right now. Let's talk about everything. Just start off with you. Text me, tell me your take, let me know what you think. What's the biggest story in local sports right now? Text 541-630-4792. For me, that answer is Oregon-Stanford. You have a big-time college football program. At least one that wants to be a big-time college football program. Oregon's been to 2 national title games, but it always feels like the Ducks are on the outside looking in. Always feels like the Ducks are the kid that wants to go to the party and never gets invited. Right? No one views them the same way they view Alabama or Auburn or Notre Dame or USC, the way USC used to be considered, or Ohio State, or the way Michigan used to be considered. This is an opportunity for the Ducks. You beat Stanford. You do what you need to do. You take care of business in the Pac-12. I think if they go on a run this year and they end up in San Francisco at the end of the year for the Pac-12 title game, like Brian Schnee and I were talking about last segment, the Ducks will be back. The Ducks will make a statement to the rest of the country that they do belong. And that road begins Saturday. I think that's a massive story. Another massive story for me is Oregon State. Are they supposed to win a game like that? Yes. Does that discredit winning a game like that? No, not with this Beaver team. You cannot take a single win for granted at this point. You've just got to embrace that maybe after Jamar Jefferson had a big day, after maybe Artavis Pierce had a big day, after maybe the defense found an identity, maybe this team figured out a way to win. I hope they figured out a way to win. I am sick and tired of covering losses for Oregon State football. I think there's more talent there than they'll admit. I think there's a team there that can win 5 or 6 games. Not this year, clearly. It's too late this year, but they had a shot. They had a team capable of pulling that off, and I hope they get closer to that now that they know what they need to do to win. Want to hear from you. My big question for Oregon State now going forward, Jonathan Smith still has the locker room for at least one more week. Got the bye. Got Pac-12 play coming up in 2 weeks. What can they do in the Pac-12? Is this a team that can pull an upset? Is this a team that can make any noise in the Pac-12 conference, or are they going to have one win and just get smoked by everybody else? That's my question for Oregon State going forward. Is this game a mirage, or can you learn from this, build on this, and use this when your schedule gets tougher? Question for you. We'll talk about that tomorrow, 541-630-4792. And real quick, I got less than a minute. I want to wrap on this note before Monday Night Football. I think the Saints got exactly what they planned for. They signed Teddy Bridgewater. They paid him all this money. They thought, we might need you to be the guy. Now they need him to be the guy. And I think the Saints are going to look like geniuses when this is all said and done. Drew Brees is hurt. Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger is hurt. We might see Daniel Jones start for the Giants. There's 3 teams that are going through quarterback changes. Only one of them is going to look back on it fondly. I love Teddy Bridgewater. I think he's going to thrive. I think the Saints won't skip a beat. Love that story. Hey, more tomorrow right here, 4 o'clock, Southern Oregon Sports Talk.